for what those judges raised for their retention campaigns. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. The electorate just voted for a name they knew. What you can pay for in signage gets you elected. I think the purpose of this council is to get elected people on the council. And like you all, you become very familiar with the ins and outs and the details of the home rule and the council, how to run a government in a different fashion. Those are the people we elect. We trust them and their judgment to appoint an executive. To my thinking, if you elect an executive, you're no different than we are today. You're electing someone who's running on a party, who's running with money, who's running with science, who does not have the qualifications. With respect to saying that none of the current commissioners should be allowed to run for the executive, of course they shouldn't. They don't have the experience. There's not one person anywhere in this county government who has the experience required of an executive to run a county like this. That's my opinion. I think your decision on that is good. I would like to just mention districting. Being from the south part of the county, I think districting is very important. I agree with Mr. Geidish on what, I mean, it's ridiculous to have people running across the county. It's a huge county. I don't see why every person who's on the council needs an office and a secretary and an administrative assistant. It surely can be pulled, particularly for a part-time job. And that, I mean, that would just be gross mismanagement if everybody had their own. From a practical point of view, picking 11 or 15 people, I think, would be difficult. It's difficult enough for many of our municipalities to staff their open positions, supervisors, planning commissions, zoning hearing boards. So to even get that many people running, to be able to pick the best, I don't see how you're going to get 11 or 13. To my opinion, 7 would be fine, maybe 9, but I mean, to try and make a decision on an ongoing basis in county government, getting 13 or 11 people to agree is a pretty difficult task. So 7 seems to be a more appropriate number from my perspective. And lastly, I see on your agenda, and I length of term, I mean, anything has to be 4 years. By the time you get your feet wet, you're out. If it's 2 years, 6 years, I don't know, that's a long time. Maybe that's a good idea. But on term limits, I think if you just look at how all of our different levels of government work, nobody needs to be in a position for 20 years, 15 years, for 40 years and retire. I honestly think in a position like this, maybe 4 years would be a great term limit. If you have 7 or 9 people on the council and you have a 4-year, perhaps a 1-term limit, whether it's a 4 or 6-year term, you get turnover. If you have a bad appointed executive, you can, and the council's trying to keep it, as if you change your council because you got time limits, you can get fresh faces, you can get fresh ideas, and you can shake it up and change it. I think that that's probably a good way to do it from my limited perspective on government.